Sumo.
Hi everyone, I'm Crow77, and today I want to take a quick look at a situation in a game to see if we can get some information out of our opponent's discards, specifically discards they make after they make a call. So, in this situation it's early on, only the third discard, and you cut a 4-mon. Your hand doesn't matter too much in this case, but the opponent to our right calls Chii. Now there's no big deal or anything those happen, but then they discard a 3-mon. Now that's it. That's the entire scenario. But here's the real question. What exactly did we just learn about their hand? Discard reading has one very fundamental concept. The discards have to make sense. If you're very new playing in lower level rooms online or working through the learning process with friends, many mistakes are going to happen. But those are going to become a lot more infrequent as you go up in skill level. When those mistakes do happen, discard reading is a much less useful tool. The converse can happen too. At very high levels, it's important to keep potential traps in mind. For this example, we need to remember that calls like Chii or pawn inherently give away more information than if tiles were discarded without the Chii or pawn. In particular, they can tell you what kind of shape the tile was discarded from, and if you can narrow down possibilities with why they would Chii from that shape, you can eliminate a lot of other tiles from being in their hand. It can even just be some simple things sometimes. For example, it's important to pay attention to Chiis from a shape like 667. The strength of shapes that players declare Chii from can indicate a lot about the power of their hand. If they're Chiing from good shapes like this one, it probably means that either their remaining shapes are all good, or their hand has high value. Otherwise, they typically prioritize declaring Chii from worse shapes. So let's go back to that example. The 3-mon was discarded, and a 5 and 6 were used in the Chii. Typically, if the only tile we saw in discards were the 3-mon, it wouldn't rule out too much. But in this case, we know with almost near certainty that our opponent does not need a 6-mon. The basic idea here is that if they needed a 6-mon, they would have held on to it instead of discarding the 3-mon. We can see that pretty clearly just looking at an example. Let's say they have this kind of shape in hand instead. Except in extremely specific scenarios where you would need a 4-5-6 shape, maybe to qualify for a specific Yaku, you would always Chii using the 3-5-mon instead. It's just flat out inefficient to do otherwise. So this rules out them from having a 7-8-mon remaining in hand, unless they just made a pretty hefty error. So even though we can't conclude from concepts like Suji that the 6-mon could be safe here, this play pattern actually creates a relationship more powerful than Suji, just from a simple discard on turn 3. So make sure you keep watching your opponent's discards and look out for opportunities to glean information like this anytime you can. Hope you learned something today, but I'll see you guys next time.